Here we are in one of our favorite communities in Southwest Washington, one that many start their searches from. Let's take a glimpse into Camas. One of the key places we always bring clients is downtown. It's got that quaint vibe to it, boutique shops, antiques. You got the theater, which is still actively running. It's such a great place. They do community events all year, including Camas Days, farmers markets, car shows, the first Fridays. Just a great place. Oh, that's nice. Now, when you're planning a stay, perhaps think about staying at the Camas Hotel so you're right downtown. And then a couple restaurant recommendations, Feast 316 up the road, or also the Hammond. Now, I'll be honest with you, it's December. This is not the primary time to see this. March and April, the trees are blooming and they're beautiful, which is the prime market for Camas. Now, location's a key thing for this area. We're easy access to PDX, easy to get to Portland. It's a beautiful, quaint town, and we've got access to the gorge. So you'll see a lot about the Vancouver waterfront when you're looking into the area. Well, meanwhile, Camas and neighboring Washougal here at Parker's Landing have their own bright future. With the Columbia River and Mount Hood in view, they're producing their own waterfront development. We're over here by one of the lakes in Camas, kind of just off the beaten path of one of the many trails that are in the area. And it's part of that naturistic side of the community that people love about Camas. So, you know, the big conversation we have is if you're going to move to the Pacific Northwest, be in the Pacific Northwest. Look, I really didn't want to make this the same video as what you're going to find other people doing about Camas, but you can't talk about Camas and not talk about the schools. It's simple. A lot of people look at Camas for the schools, and how it plays in with real estate is majorly important because good schools generally leads to good real estate and a continuance of that value. So when we look at the schools, elementary, middle, and high school, Camas typically has ranked 7 out of 10 up to 10 out of 10 throughout the schools, more than most in the whole county and in Southwest Washington. They're among the most nationally ranked schools for the area when looking at the rest of the country. And then you tie that in with the sporting aspect and the facilities that they're offering. They're absolutely state-of-the-art, top range. You would want your kids to be in these schools. Now, you might not have kids, and schools really might not be relevant to you in your life. But when you talk about real estate, schools are still majorly important because we want to be thinking about the exit plan. How easy is it to sell your property later? Really, your valuation is only worth what someone's willing to buy it for. And if you've got people that are in demand, wanting to be in that community for the schools, that only betters your situation. Now, you are paying for that because there is a higher tax level in Camas for the schools than other areas of the county. But again, you're seeing a higher price for properties in Camas as well. So it kind of balances depending on how you look at things. Now, you might look at other areas in the county that have lower taxes, but you're getting worse off schools, lower demand for that area. So you just tell me what's important to you in your move. My own personal experience with Camas schools started way back in '08 when I actually traveled over here and did a university piece on the sports program. So I was highly involved with the Camas high school football team for that, Go Papermakers. And to see their development to their state championships and their expansive element of what they're doing with their facilities and the stadium has been tremendous to see. Something I think you'd greatly enjoy, especially those Friday night lights. Touching on housing, now Camas typically has an average price point of over $1 million. So when we talk about luxury is typically $1 million or more. So that would suggest that most of Camas is in the luxury market. Now, regular house in Camas would be under $1 million perhaps in other markets. It's just because of where you are. But when you look at the Camas options, you've got luxury homes, beautiful custom style homes, some gated, some not. You've got out in the rural areas, more acreage, more trees, more wells and septics, more privacy. You've got suburban Camas, more residential neighborhoods, kind of like what we're seeing being developed behind us. And then we also have condos and townhomes in more high density options as you get closer to western Camas that borders eastern Vancouver. So really there's something for everybody. However, It all just comes down to price. Continuing with the notion of a bright future, you can't talk about Camas and ignore the North Shore sub-area. Right now, in planning phases, we actually got a start of a development here. This is Lacamas Hills, but there's up to 900 acres on the North Shore of Lacamas Lake that is planned to mix in nature as well as commercial and residential for all walks of life. So make sure you're keeping an eye on the North Shore. Thank you for joining us on our tour today.
If you're ready to explore your move, reach out to us via oxfordstreetpartners.com.